This is how legends are made.
When trying to get an aesthetic physique, it is imperative that you work the lats. The lats not only will contribute to your width from the back, but also from the front. Working this muscle will make you look jacked whether you're flexing or relaxed. The main and most basic way by which we grow our lats is by doing some type of pull-up variation, be it pronated, neutral, supinated, wide, medium, or close grip, with fixed bars, rings, ropes, or whatever implement comes to mind. Pull-ups, depending on the variation, not only work our lats, but also the rhomboids, traps, and rear delts in a higher or less degree, and on top of that, they will target the thoracic or iliac portion of the lats differently due to the individual leverages of the movement. So, although you can pick any type of pull-up, get better at it, and get bigger lats, we can always bias our training towards the target muscle group. In this case, we can ask, what is the best lat bias pull-up? And to this question, two options come to mind. The L-sit or knees up, close or medium grip chin-up on rings, or L-sit chin-ups for short, and the super wide grip pull-up, in which forearms are diagonal. In today's video, we will examine how effective each variation is as a lat builder. So, let's begin. The super wide grip pull-up, or super wides for short, is a vertical pulling movement that puts the forearm in a diagonal position. The range of motion should be at least chin over the bar, although you can go higher, be it clavicle, chest to bar, or sternum. This worsens the leverages, making it a more out of less weight variation of an already very stimulus to fatigue favorable movement. If you think you are too good for bodyweight pull-ups because you can do 25 regular pull-ups in a row, try doing this. You will probably get less than 10. With that in mind, how does it target the lats? Well, past the midpoint of the movement, where the arms are at a 90-degree angle, you get a higher lat activation via shoulder adduction. This causes a contraction similar to iliac lat pulldowns. Added to that, the contraction being the hardest part of the movement is what makes it so effective for the lats. Past the 90-degree mark, your lats will be working extra hard compared to your regular pull-ups. Sounds perfect, right? Well, yes, but actually no. These pull-ups have two main flaws that I want to point out. The first flaw is based around joint integrity. Super wides are great at improving the stimulus to fatigue ratio, but contrary as you might conclude, they cannot be spammed as you would spam a vanilla pull-up. If you do, you will find yourself with aches, discomfort, and pain on your shoulders, elbows, and even your armpits. You can reduce this by always slowing down the eccentric and adding pauses to the bottom, but this will just allow you to milk the exercise a little bit extra. But overuse will still kick in faster than expected. The second one is that this movement, although it will make you feel your lats working like no other, doesn't have the greatest stretch, especially for the lats. If this movement had it, it would quite literally be the perfect pull-up.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
But compared to closer grips, it is quite lacking. And we already know that the stretch is the most important portion for hypertrophy. So it may allow you to feel your lats and to take them close to or to failure, but you're missing out on extra gains by not having as good of a stretch. As a final point for this movement, something to note is the fact that this movement will work your back as a whole. The first portion is mostly upper back, and past the 90-degree portion, it's mostly lats. So you get a complete movement that if you were to get better at, you would see your back grow as a whole, and not only the lats. In this sense, super wides are like dips, but for your back. So, I got you sold on super wides, right? Well, you better pay attention to this one, because L-sit chin-ups have replaced super wides as my own favorite pull-up variation. Yes, you heard that right. So, what makes these so good? Well, if super wides are the dip of your whole back, then L-sits are the vero press. They are a strict, more out of less weight movement that allows you to very effectively bias a compound towards the target muscle, i.e. the lats, while focusing on the weighted stretch. How so? Well, in a previous video, link in the description, I talked about the criteria necessary for a vertical or horizontal pull to be better at targeting the lats. Those were hand positioning, grip width, spinal flexion, range of motion, and lastly, the movement being unilateral. Out of these 5, you want to know how many the LSIT ticks? 4. It ticks all but being unilateral, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, since the rings provide that extra mobility that will allow for a similar effect to going unilateral. So we basically have a movement that is designed to target the lats. We have a medium to close grip, we assume an L-sit or knee sub position, we have a free rotation from neutral to supinated that allows to match our own anthropometry, and we have a movement that maximally stretches the lats, especially the iliac portion. Is there anything wrong with this movement? As with every movement, it has its drawbacks. The main drawback is that the movement is so difficult and so strict that trying to overload it would be a very stupid idea. The movement cannot be used as a main variation and should be seen as a movement you do second or even third in your session as AMRAPs, i.e. as many reps as possible. If you were to take out the L-sit aspect, you would trade less lat biasing for more weight, but at that point, you're no longer doing the movement. And the second point is related to the previous one. For heavier lifters, not only L-sits, but even just knee sub chin-ups are not going to be possible, especially if you have bigger legs. You can slowly build up to it, but it's gonna take a long time. Although these 2 variations are great, each has their own benefits and flaws. I think that super wides are perfect as a first or second motion in your program, done for the 6 to 12 or 8 to 15 rep range, allowing you to hit everything at once while using less load than other variations. Then, L-sit chin-ups are gonna be better done for as many reps as possible as the second or third movement in a session. So, my general recommendation is the following. If you really want to focus on the lats, do both. Otherwise, choose the L-sits. If both are chosen, have them on separate sessions. Have the super wide grips be done as a secondary movement of your workout after a close or medium grip pull-up or after rows for lower reps, or as a first movement if the session is less intense. 3 sets a week to failure is the sweet spot for most people. Then have the L-sits as a secondary movement after your main back movement, or tertiary even if you train your back 1 to 2 times a week and you have to also do your horizontal pulls. 2 to 4 sets is gonna be the best. This is the end of the video, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, you can always support me in my Ko-fi page in the link in the description. You can donate or become a member and get exclusive benefits. Also, you can DM me at Protein Man Supremacy on Instagram for one-on-one coaching, or if you just want to chat. As always guys, thanks for watching.